Hey everyone, we're about to hop into our first adventure tonight. Before we do so, we are going to introduce our heroes. Without further ado, we have Joy Slaughtermurder is back in the saddle today. Hello, Joy.
Hi, everybody.
The Joybinger. How have you been as of late?
I've been good. I've been learning how to chef romance with Uncle Clint.
You picked up some good chef romancy tips. What's your best chef romancy dish, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I haven't quite gotten a handle on it, but you know, there I made some zombie vegetables one time.
Zombie vegetables, you say? Was there any particular reason that you decided to go after zombie vegetables?
Well, I heard this funny story about something that happened in Southtown a while ago, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Zombie vegetables.
Well, I hope they came out delicious. But it's been a little while since we've seen you out adventuring, Joy.
Yep, I've been hard at work trying to learn the craft. And she reaches into like a pouch, which is Heward's handy spice pouch, and just grabs a handful of spice and sprinkles it like sparkles in the air.
This is very impressive, Joy. I'm glad that you're able to take some couple of moments from your busy schedule of cooking and training with Clinton in order to come here and do some more adventuring. Joy, welcome back.
Well, I have to. I gotta spread joy and happiness throughout the lands of DnDTime.
I hope that you are able to do so today. There's some pretty grave tidings waiting for you in this adventure. Apparently there's been a murder of some sorts. So I hope that you're able to bring some joy to probably some people that are pretty upset about that.
You betcha.
All right. Welcome again, Joy. Next up, we have joining us as well, Mayor Lord Snooty McTootington.
Yes, hello.
Lord Snooty McTootington, or Mayor Lord Snooty McTootington. I understand that you're a mayor now.
Yes, that is correct.
What town are you mayor?
Well, it is a small town, close to the coast.
Yes. The Crimson Coast, I must assume.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So, Lord Snooty McTootington, you've also been a little bit away from adventuring for a while. It's been a while since we've seen you out there as well. What have you been up to as of late?
Well, I have been quite busy managing my town, making sure everyone is safe. We recently had a bit of a medical outbreak.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that. How are you coping with this?
Luckily, I hired plenty of medics to take care of the village while I was away, and they seem to be doing good work.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. The safety of your village is probably your utmost concern as mayor.
It absolutely is.
But I'm glad that today you're able to take a break and join us once more for an adventure. So welcome back, Mayor Lord Snooty McTootington.
Thank you greatly.
Next up, we have joining us once more, Kintoki Kakata, the corpse-eating devil. Welcome, Kintoki.
Yes, thanks for having me, Pete.
But of course. Kintoki, I have a first question for you. I don't think I've ever asked you this before. What does your title, the corpse-eating devil, mean?
It's not really fair to get called that, but it's one of the few titles that I've ever had people call me, so it felt like it just... people just assume the worst in people. You go out to a battlefield and you steal some rations off some dead people, and suddenly rumors start going around that you're just going out eating corpses, and it's really not fair.
I'm really sorry that you've gotten kind of stuck with this label, Kintoki. You could probably talk to Bartholomew about getting that adjusted if you're unhappy with it, Kintoki.
I mean, it does have a nice intimidation factor, and
That's
to
true.
be fair, I found some good rations on the...
Well, I appreciate you owning up to it a bit, Kintoki. And also, I mean, I certainly, if I hear about the corpse-eating devil coming after me, I'm definitely intimidated on a personal level. So it's definitely effective there. Kintoki, welcome back. It's good to have you joining us again tonight. And, of course, last but not least, we have Sarah Galanodel with us once more, the Necromancer. Hello, Sarah.
Oh, hey.
How have you been, Sarah? It's also, a lot of adventurers we haven't seen in a little bit. How have you been up so late, Sarah?
I've been pretty good. Just burning things down.
Did you say burning things down?
Yeah, sometimes when you're angry, the only reasonable thing to do is to burn things down.
That's certainly relatable. I mean, what kind of things are you burning down?
I think a better question would be, like, what things am I not burning down? I'm not burning down orphans.
That's a great start. I'm a little bit worried that was the first thing to list on the not. Well, I guess maybe it's good that that's the first thing on the not. Like, what else is on the not burning down list? Oh, no. Oh, no, Sarah, is there nothing else on the not burning down list?
Well, orphans don't burn, so I think that's it. Water.
Okay. Sarah, it seems like you're really working through some stuff right now. I am sorry to hear that you're struggling in this particular way, but I'm also glad that you're able to find a constructive release for your emotions there. Either way, perhaps today's adventure will also act as some a way to release some of that stress.
I hope so.
Me as well. For both yours and maybe the orphan's sake. Welcome back, Sarah. It's good to have you with us again.
Thank you.
And without further ado, our adventure today, it begins maybe a little bit differently than some of the other adventures here in the lands of DnDTime. You find yourselves, all of you, beginning a bit in media res. You see Bartholomew contacted all of you where you are. Some of his teleportation circles have been a little faulty lately. And he told you to make your way out to a town called, the name of the town is Mafia, which was a weird name for the town. And when you arrived there, all of the people kind of told you, like, it's just the name, don't worry about it. But apparently there was a terrible murder in the town of Mafia. And the town was sort of gathered together and all of you were there, and it seemed pretty obvious who the murderer was, and you guys were all able to see them well dealt with. The sentence for murder in the town of Mafia is death. So the person was killed, and you guys kind of completed your adventure as you kind of captured the murderer. So last night, all of you spent the night in the town of Mafia. And where our adventure begins, it's time for you to wake up and make your way back to Bartholomew's shop. You guys find yourselves arising and waking up in the morning in the town of Mafia. All of you were given like a little, they have some like extra cottages and stuff for visitors. It's not a huge town. There's some few houses, but you all have a little place to stay the night. As you all wake up in the morning, and kind of, I think you're all sort of stepping out of your houses at the same time, you can see that once again, the citizens of Mafia are crowding around and kind of huddling around the center of town. And there's something of a commotion you're noticing as your guys are getting kind of ready to get out of here. You're all just waking up for the day. What do you guys want to do as you're getting ready to leave? As you're getting ready to head out of town?
Well, this seems problematic.
I wonder what they're doing. Oh, let's go get breakfast, guys. Can't start the day without the most important meal.
Some kind of morning.
You go ahead. I'm going to check this out.
I'll come with you. They might be having a breakfast buffet jamboree over there.
Perhaps.
You step over and begin walking over, and you recognize you met the mayor yesterday. He's an Aarakocra, but he looks over at the group of you. He turns around and he goes, "Terrible news! Terrible news!"
What happened?
Oh
and you look behind you, and on the ground you can see it appears to be the town blacksmith has been killed. He's laid out upon the ground, and there was just a funeral yesterday, and you can see a lot of the people around the town are very distraught. You can see there's a whole bunch of townsfolk that are going about like kind of yelling at each other and kind of accusing each other of different things. And the mayor looks over at you. It would seem that there was another murder in town last night. Well, we all sort of agreed that it was that housewife about town who was just sort of milling about doing nothing. We all agreed it was definitely her. I mean, you were there, but it turns out we were wrong.
What we agreed it was her.
And whoever it is, the killer is still loose. It looks like you're not quite out of your jobs yet.
Say it ain't so.
I wish I could, but and from behind him, you can see people beginning to kind of speak up and shout. You can see one individual appears to be an individual who's wearing sort of a pinstripe suit and a big kind of pinstripe hat that matches it. Suit and tie. He's got a big cigar in his mouth, and he looks over and he goes, "See, the thing here is that the mayor is probably just covering up for him. I bet you it's the mayor that did it." So it seems like a lot of these kind of accusations are kind of clambering about. You can see that over on the other side of the town, there's a drider, which is almost like a spider centaur, if you're unfamiliar with it. There's a drider who you have recognized now as the town tailor, is over there going, "Last night I saw the doctor over there. I saw him walking out loud," and the doctor kind of replies, "Well, I was making a house call, you see. The boy there was sick," and he points to a kid on the ground. "And if anything, it's a solid alibi for me not being there." People kind of continue and start to like descend into chaos again. They were supposed to pay you and you were supposed to get out of town this morning, but it looks like the killer wasn't actually caught.
Well, it's just got a whole lot more complicated. All right, present me with the facts. I don't need alibis yet, I just need to know what's going on first.
I can speak on that subject. The town guard kind of walks over. All right, here's what we know. The blacksmith was found last night, or well, early this morning. And he kind of walks over and he goes to him. He was found within his own home, and you can see that he has a couple of very small puncture wounds right near the neck, where it seems he bleeded out from. He's looking over and he kind of shows you the two puncture wounds at the neck. Based on these two kind of points, it's our belief that they're probably a werewolf.
That doesn't seem correct.
You don't think a werewolf? Maybe a vampire?
Vampire sounds much more likely in this case. The puncture wounds, can I look at how small the puncture wounds are?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead
two
and
little holes.
Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Sure. Not great.
That is an 8. You're looking over. I mean, yeah, a couple little holes. Looks like it could be fangs from something. Not a ton of fangs.
If it were a werewolf, I predict that there would be more than just two little puncture wounds. And I also doubt that there would be a corpse in this good of a condition.
And he kind of thinks for some time, that's quite a good point. So you think it's probably a vampire then? We don't have any vampires. Are any of you vampires? Speak up now. And you see one of them over there kind of speaks up. You see the guy in like the Mafia outfit looks over at, points over at an elf over on the side and just goes, "You know, this one never sleeps." And that elf kind of looks over and goes, "I'm an elf. I don't have to sleep. I meditate." Points over to you, Sarah. We meditate, don't we?
Should everyone show your teeth? And Joy, lifts up her lip and like grins.
Wait,
She also has pointy teeth, by the way. She's a tiefling.
So you kind of bare your teeth. Everyone just kind of begrudgingly agrees. There's a couple of people that like put up a little bit of fuss, and you're walking around and to take stock of all the people that are in town, because there's been a lot of individuals arguing. There's one person that everyone keeps calling the criminal. That's the kind of mafia-looking guy in the pinstripe suit. There's the doctor. That appears to be like a tiefling as well, but he's like a winged tiefling, and he almost looks more demonic than everything. Like he's definitely closer to just being a full devil than you are, maybe like a Cambion or something. And he has some pretty sharp fanged teeth. There's a town guard who's just a very burly-looking human. There's the Drider who has big spidery fangs. There's the fortune teller. That person seems to be an Eladrin or an elf or some kind. And then there's the Aarakocra who has just a big beak. And then there's a little kid who's just been kind of quiet. And he looks up and just goes, that's this is kind of scary. I don't want to get. I don't want to get serial killed.
Do not worry, child. Show us your teeth, and we can get this all figured out quite quickly.
Yep, we'll protect you.
He smiles big up at you, and he has normal teeth. But there's a few people that you see that seem to have fangs. And the mayor goes, all right, we've been going at this for far too long. The Aarakocra kind of steps over to the side and just, we're going to continue to solve things the way that the town of Mafia has always done. Everyone votes, and then we kill whoever did it.
What? That doesn't...
That's a terrible idea.
That's what we did yesterday.
I still think that wasn't great.
I also agree, that wasn't a fantastic thing.
It's the rules.
Your rules are dumb.
What if the person who killed yesterday was the murderer, but then they came back as a vampire because they're undead?
You hear a few people around the town all just go like, holy shit, and they kind of look at you like, man, that's a crazy idea, but so crazy it might just work, seems to be the idea. The doctor kind of goes, I examined the body yesterday, and it did not appear to have any of the signs of undeath, but we buried both the person that died and the person we killed, so we should be able to just look at the graves.
Let's do it. Lead the way, Mr. Doctor.
He begins walking across, but wait, aren't we going to vote on who we kill next first?
Let's
Not after we see the evidence.
Okay.
There does not need to be unnecessary death.
What's not unnecessary, it's just killing the person who's most likely to be it. But fine, we can look at them.
If they're not guilty, that means you've killed an innocent person.
Well, how do you make an omelet without breaking a few eggs? He says, but the doctor begins leading you across town to over where the graves are. Both of them freshly dug. You can see that the people behind you as you walk away just go back to just bickering and arguing amongst each other, throwing accusations around haphazardly. You hear a couple like just get casually thrown in all of your directions as you're stepping away, just to even you guys who aren't even from here.
I'm gonna say to the party, isn't it strange that an Aarakocra would talk about making omelets and breaking eggs?
I will admit that it's slightly fishy.
Do you think that the mayor did it?
I mean, he doesn't have fangs, though, and Joy gnashes her own teeth.
The doctor looks over at you, and he goes, seems pretty likely to me that it was the mayor based on that. It would have to be a complete monster that would talk about, well, killing their own young.
Yeah, so it could be the tailor using their sharp needles to stab into the neck.
They're always operating those needles. I'll vote for the tailor, yes.
Or it could be you.
I don't think it's me.
Before we
No,
jump
it's
It
not
could
me.
be you
conclusions,
No, it's
because
not me.
you could have doctored the body in such a way that it looked like the tailor did it.
Okay, before we start
Oh,
throwing
shit.
around accusations, how about we get some evidence?
Here we are, and you walk over to the two. You walk over to the two graves, and it looks like the graveyard here in this town has a lot of gravestones where a lot of causes of deaths do seem to be by group vote around here. But There's the two recent ones, and both of them, are filled in with dirt. And he goes, I don't know if you want me to go to the extent of maybe digging these up, like maybe they filled it back in with dirt, but they look relatively undisturbed. It's tough to tell since we just buried them yesterday.
I don't know. It looks like they've been filled in recently. Is it recently as far as yesterday, or recently as in last night?
Well, we did this last night. To just sort of talk about the timeline of yesterday out of character. You guys went around. There was this kind of time. Eventually, they just insisted that they were going to vote on someone and take them out, and they did. They just kind of agreed, like, oh, we probably got them. And then they buried the bodies, and then there was just a kind of a pleasant evening.
Did we have time to examine the bodies before?
Unfortunately, the last ones you didn't have any time to, or you maybe you had, but you just kind of got caught up in the pace of Mafia on day one, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
It's a very infectious just accusation. Just seems like anytime anyone makes an accusation, like everyone else agrees.
These guys are dumb.
That seems a little bit rude. You don't know Mafia's customs.
That was out of character. That was Alex, not Snooty.
That'd have been a reasonable thing to say in character.
It would have been, but
fair enough.
I'm
Anyway,
gonna get the doctor to dig him up.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to do that. I'll help, at least. I'll tell you what, I'll help, but I'm not just going to stand. It's going to take at least like an hour to get back down and to pull all that dirt out of the ground.
Well, I'm gonna go examine the body.
And Joy immediately, like, magical girl transforms into a Sherlock hat.
You spin around a couple of times, and then you're her Sherlock.
Yeah, then she's got like the coat and the pipe, but the pipe spews bubbles.
Magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, we need professionals on this. Kintoki will get out one of his band costumes that is a Watson with a very, like, absurdly sized mustache.
Perfect.
Excellent. Kintoki and Joy, the two of you go back. Sarah, you gonna help this guy dig up a couple of bodies?
By help, do you mean getting other people to do it? Because I will totally go get the guard and the mayor and the criminal.
I'm not digging up any bodies, smash cut. The kid also looks at you.
No, not the kid.
I really don't want to help dig up the guard and the criminal. The criminal looks at you like, how come I gotta do it, huh? And the guard looks over, well, you are a criminal and you've avoided arrest for quite a long time. Consider it community service. Come on, let's go. And he steps over, and the two of them walk over, and they start helping the doctor dig up yesterday's body. Or bodies, as it were. Meanwhile, Joy and Kintoki, the two of you are going over investigating today's body. Go ahead and make me an investigation check. Either both of you or one of you can make it with advantage with the other one's help.
I will give Joy help.
All right, Joy, go ahead and make me an investigation check with advantage. 9. You begin kind of looking it over. You turn it over. One thing, just like taking a little bit of extra time, because I imagine you're not just looking at it and being like, bites on the neck. You're at least taking a little bit of time to more thoroughly investigate. There is some blood on the back of the shirt as well. Maybe sign of a struggle or something like that, but there might be some blood on the back of the shirt. Well, obviously there's the two bite marks on the neck, and something that Sarah had said earlier is definitely ringing true. They maybe do look a little bit small to be regular bites. They might be something that you could have done with one of the larger sized sewing needles that you can see that Drider across the way using.
Okay. Joy's gonna lift up the shirt.
Okay. As you kind of lift up and over the shirt, you can see the back of the shirt is stained with blood in some places. And on the back, underneath the shirt, kind of covered up, you can see that there's some pretty heavy bandaging that also has some blood kind of soaking through. Covering through that, there are some very vicious looking scratch marks on the back that looked like, someone like the raking of claws over back, that this person looks like they bandaged up and covered over and cleaned all the blood from. Whoever did it.
Watson?
And she blows on her bubble pipe.
Well, Holmes, it looks like a doctor attended to these wounds. While we're investigating, is there any snacks or food in this guy's jacket or on his person?
Just in his just that he's carrying?
Yes.
You can see he has a little packaged cake. It's in a small box that maybe he had visited. It's a single serving cupcake. Maybe he bought it from the local baker's place, or maybe he looted it from the local baker's place because that was the first person to get murdered.
I will take it out and munch on it while we continue the investigation.
Joy will sprinkle some fantastical spices on it. It is now super delicious.
Go ahead and make me a cooking. Go ahead and make me a cooking check, Joy.
Sure.
For adding spices to a cupcake, because that's wild. All right, you don't add anything. You don't add anything that detracts from it. There's no rosemary in there. It's cinnamon and nutmeg and spices that would be good with baked goods.
An excellent move, Holmes.
And as you begin kind of eating, you can see behind you that little kid goes, "Are you eating that body?"
What? No!
It's referring to Kintoki specifically.
No, it's just cake. Crap, why did it have to be angel? No, red velvet.
Meanwhile, what's Lord Snooty up to right now?
I think Lord Snooty is getting everyone's whereabouts last night and checking their alibis.
In speaking to everyone, go ahead and just make me persuasion as you're going around and just roughly trying to get vibes from everyone.
13.
13. Everyone seems to have an alibi, but almost none of them are all that corroborated. The tailor says that she was just in working all night. You can see that the doctor said that he was attending to the kid. The kid was home because he's a kid. The mayor was said he was in his office doing paperwork. Basically, everyone just kind of describes they were home, just minding their own business.
And not all of them, most of them are not corroborated.
Pretty much none of them are corroborated. The only things that are corroborated is the doctor and the kid are corroborating each other's stories. And the guard says that he was with the mayor for a good part of the night while he was doing paperwork, just guarding.
I see. And what did the mayor say?
The mayor said he was in doing paperwork.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that his lined up.
They come back, and the three that you had over exhuming the bodies come over, and the three of them all kind of go. The doctor comes up and goes, "All right, well, we've exhumed the bodies, and well, the bodies are there. Is the bottom line, which I think was the big question as to whether or not the bodies were there. The bodies were there."
Now, tell me you didn't put them back yet.
We haven't pushed the dirt back. We didn't actually lift them out.
Good, because we need to check and see if they've been disturbed in the night.
While
Oh, right. Come along,
while they were
Watson.
exhuming the bodies, could I talk to the fortune teller?
Yes, absolutely. You want to go over to the fortune teller. The fortune teller looks over at you. Yes, what is it?
Did you predict another murder?
Last night? No, I thought we got it. I mean, I voted yesterday for, well, him to be killed. Points over to where the grave was of the person that was executed yesterday. But I did last night do a bit of protecting.
And?
And think for a while. Well, I did learn that I don't think it's the guard over there, and points towards the guard. They seem, they seem pretty above board. I mean, in my visions, I saw them just outside all night, sort of standing watch and looking out. Maybe you should ask them. I mean, I don't know if they saw anything while they were out looking, but they seem to be clean. This is all I saw. My vision was hazy after that.
And it's not you.
Of course it's not me.
How do I
Which, are
know?
you off on your own?
I think so.
Okay.
Pete?
You can see like Switch speaking to the fortune teller in the distance, but you haven't heard any of this conversation up till now. But you can pop over and talk if you want to. But the fortune teller.
I'd like to pop up and talk.
We'll finish this one sentence and then you'll come over.
Yeah, of course.
The fortune teller looks at you. I know it wasn't me because, I mean, I didn't do it. I was just at home watching the guard in my fortune telling orb of truth.
Can I make an insight check to see if he is lying?
Yeah, go ahead and make me an insight check.
16.
16. There's some hesitance maybe, but for the most part, they seem like they're speaking pretty much above board.
Okay.
Lord Snooty, you approach as well.
Alright, what's the story with this one?
I update Lord Snooty on what was just said.
Okay, cool.
Is that so?
So as you can tell, I'm clearly innocent, and I think the mayor's getting a little bit antsy. We're gonna have to kill someone soon.
That can't yet be determined. Well, yes, the mayor and the guard's story no longer lines up. That doesn't necessarily mean you're out of the picture either.
Oh. Okay, well, I don't think it's... I don't know. I think just process of elimination, it's probably the person named the criminal. I don't know why we didn't actually vote for them yesterday.
Personally, I don't think it is the criminal.
Well, that's who I'm voting for. And at this point, the mayor calls out, "All right, that's enough! Time for a vote!" And everyone kind of reconvenes in the center of town. And he goes, "Do any of you have anything you'd like to say before we go in?" Basically, everyone takes a moment and says it's not them. A couple of them go like, "What about you guys?" As they're looking over at the group of you. But those accusations are also kind of like drowned out by other noise and such.
Do any of the villagers have like claws?
You can see that the doctor has some pretty vicious looking nails. It's not like, I wouldn't go as far as to call them claws, but they're nails. The mayor has claws for sure as an Aarakocra. You can see that who is it? There's another person with claws. Oh, the tailor, the spider has those, like spider tendrils, legs, but they could make kind of a similar, like raking, kind of piercing claw mark in the same way that these did. It would take a little effort for them to do it, but they could do it.
The criminal is like a fiend. Does he also have claws?
The criminal is just a dude. He's just a short dude.
Oh.
Sorry, the criminal's a human?
The criminal's a human.
So there are two humans.
Yeah, there's two humans.
And what's the kid?
The kid is a young half-orc.
Okay.
For
Who
Snooty
was the blacksmith race mentioned?
It was not. The blacksmith was a halfling.
Halfling. And then the baker was?
The baker was a half-elf.
Half-elf?
Yep.
And the housewife?
And the housewife was gnome.
a gnome.
Okay.
Who the fuck's kid is the kid?
He's just a kid. You can talk to him if you want.
No, I don't. I don't want to talk.
All right.
He
Watson,
might
come
be an
here.
emancipated mind. Oh, yes, Holmes.
I think Taylor. What about you?
They could use those spindly legs as makeshift claws, and then use their needle to make puncture wounds to throw us off this trail.
Yeah. Seems like that way, huh?
Before
Could-
anyone starts voting, Snooty is going to clear his throat. May I have your attention, please? There are a couple of questions I'd like to ask the mayor, the guard, and the, what was it, fortune teller?
Yeah.
And the fortune teller.
As you say this, the criminal kind of speaks and goes, "Sounds like something a killer would say."
He just
But go
glares
on.
over at him.
But go on, ask your questions if you gats to. Go ahead.
The two of you said that you were in the mayor's house studying, correct? Or doing paperwork?
The mayor says, "That's right, I was in there all night."
But that
the
can't
guard-
be true if what the fortune teller says is true. She said
and-
that she saw the both of you out at night guarding something.
The guard said, "Well, I was guarding the mayor, and then of course I did at some point go home. I mean, everyone's got to sleep at some point, but I spent quite a bit of time walking around the night. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I heard something moving in the night. Not sure what it was.
So you changed your stories.
Someone might have been rustling around a little bit. I can't quite recall."
So you change your story as soon as this comes to light, eh?
The fortune teller kind of looks over. The fortune teller kind of looks over at the guard and goes, "Perhaps my readings were wrong. I think it's the guard. Time to put it to a vote." The mayor goes, "Voting time! Everyone who thinks it's the guard, point at him!" And you watch as a whole bunch of people in the space begin pointing over at the guard. People are about to... It looks like the tide is shifted towards the guard right now. If any of you have anything to say.
Joy
Well-
bubbles her pipe.
While
you see
he
those
was,
puncture wounds match the tailor's needles, and on the back of the victim was big deep claw marks that could have been done by the drider's claws.
She points.
I'm certain it wasn't me, the drider says, and the criminal goes, "Sounds like something the killer would say. It's them!" And they point over at the tailor. I need both you, Lord Snooty, and you, Joy, to make me persuasion checks to see who more people
I'm
vote
bad
for.
at these, but let's see.
Okay.
As one of you decides the fate. Oh no, rematch.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, you watch as there's a big pile of people that all kind of point all at once. Do you guys cast votes, or do you guys just let them all?
I am
watch
staying.
themselves?
I wanted to see what kind of bandages were used to bandage the back.
All right. They are not like. There's not a lot of medical training, it looks like, in the person that did it. It's more like pieces of scrap cloth. And you pick this up right as a whole bunch of people point at the guard, and the guard kind of, no, really, it wasn't me. I swear I saw in the night. It was him. I saw him walking around at night. And he points over at the criminal and he goes, "Yeah, save it for the gallows." And they go to hang this dude.
What kind of cloth? Like, is this the kind of stuff that I saw the tailor working with?
The kind of stuff you saw the tailor working with. Looking around, it does seem like it does seem like it could have been like pieces of scrap cloth that the tailor had been sewing together. I mean, the clothes that they were making look finer than any of this, and this looks pretty just like slapdash, but I mean, the material is fairly comparable. It's cloth.
I propose
Yeah, it's not like medical
kind
bandage.
I propose a different kind of judgment by death. It is still execution, but a different kind.
A duel.
You can see that every single person is looking over at you. Like currently, like everyone stops, and the guard's head is at the gallows, and like the axe is like halfway to the like thing to like drop them off the gallows, and everyone just like oh, and then holds for a second as they wait to hear you out. What do you want to?
I say
Snooty, burning at the stake is a little extreme, don't you think?
wait for it. I say
Our town has traditions. This is just kind of how it goes.
well, what if we chained him up in the middle of town?
And
Left him there overnight. If he ends up dead, that means the murderer is still among us. If he lives, that means he was the murderer and he can be executed properly.
make me a persuasion check.
Natural 20.
You can see that the axe, like the person who is wielding the axe, which was in this case the mayor, is like halfway up and bringing it down and goes, fine. And so they temporarily spare the guard, and the guard just goes, oh, thank God, thank you so much. Oh, that was really.
If it's a duck and he floats, he's a witch.
Oh, that was really scary. It's probably the. I don't know. So wait, are you saying if no one dies tonight, that I'm free, or if I'm the killer? What happens? How does this work? What exonerates
Chain
me?
him up.
If someone dies tonight, and it was, you know, if someone dies tonight, then it wasn't you.
What if? But then you're another person. Wait, I'm actually this. You know what? This works for me. It's fine. He gets chained up and he stands around in the middle of town, and everyone retires to their beds for the evening.
If
and
he
they,
or
they
someone
send you
else
back to your
dies,
homes.
that means he is innocent.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys all sleep for the night?
Can I
Joe
kill
will
someone?
actually stay up.
Do you want to kill someone in the night?
I think I do, yeah.
What?
You're the worst.
It's people like you that make these kind of games difficult.
Oh
You
my
just
God.
tap in heads when you don't
Why
have the
are you
right
doing
to.
this?
Yeah, who do
I
you
had
want
a
to kill?
perfect system and you broke it.
Can I kill the tailor? Because the elf doesn't sleep, so that'd be a bad call.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
I hope you know that you're making this a lot harder than it needs to be.
Can Joy go
What do you s-
examine the exhumed bodies for their cause of death?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Come along, Watson.
Coming right along, Holmes. Holmes, do you think that we should
Snooty
go
wakes
out
up in the
this
middle of the
evening?
night with a big headache and he pinches his nose and goes back to sleep.
Yeah, good.
This evening, do you want to keep a watch on the tailor to make sure they don't strike again?
That's a good idea. But let's go look at that body first. Actually, we can split up. Cover more ground. You want to go watch the tailor? Tail the tailor. Oh my gosh, it works out so well.
She's so happy with the fun.
Whatever you say, Holmes. Stay safe, though, in case the killer's still...
So everyone can do like one thing in the night. So what do you guys all want to do in the night? Run me through it.
Joy's gonna go and investigate the cause of death of the other body.
Oh, okay. Well, you can do that before you go to bed. So go ahead and make an investigation check on that.
Alright, cool. Yeah, okay.
7. Yeah, tough to say. There's been a lot of dirt. One thing you do find, like looking through and completely like examining the bodies closely, it does look like they're pretty scratched up. Similar cause of death.
Mayor is gonna guard the guard and make sure that he doesn't die from someone else.
Okay, cool. You go and so you spend the night guarding the guard. So if anyone goes to kill the guard, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I know these rules. I know what's up.
Yeah.
Joy's gonna go guard the kid.
You guard the kid. Great choice. Don't want that kid's. You don't want that kid's death on your hands. And what are you doing, Switch?
Am I killing the Drider guys?
I mean, Watson over here is gonna go protect/watch the Drider.
Hiding out in the bushes.
Then I guess I'll go to my other choice. I'll go watch the criminal.
All right. In that case, you go and watch the criminal. And what are you doing, Kintoki?
Keeping, hiding myself away to see if the tailor comes out of their house.
Okay. Basically, in that case, everyone make me a perception check, because I think that this is what it comes down to.
Best perception check in the world.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. You watch the tailor over a night, Sarah, and you're kind of like watching them through their windows, and they never stop working through the night. They're just in the house the whole night.
I was not watching the tailor.
Wait, who? Oh, you're watching the criminal.
Yeah.
My mistake. Well, have some free information. In that case, you watch the criminal. That's my mistake. And the criminal does walk around quite a bit in the night. You can see the criminal steps out of their house, and you see them kind of moving around the corner. And just for a moment, as they're walking around the corner, you can see that it seems like maybe that's a tail that's sticking out as they're walking past that building, and it kind of wags for a moment. And then they're gone. They're gone into the night. You, Lord Snooty McTootington, 5 perception, you're just staring at the guard in the center of town and making sure that he's okay. And he's, you don't notice anything other than that, but just watching the guard and making sure that nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him.
Good.
It's like, it's obvious that you're there, like, kind of looking over him, and he's there and fine. Kintoki, what were you doing again?
They were
I was
watching the tailor.
Watching the tailor.
Oh, yes, you were watching the tailor. Oh, okay, well, you got a 15, so I told you what I told you anyway. You can tell that the tailor's just hanging out. And Joy, what were you doing?
She was protecting the kid.
The kid, at one point during the night, you look into the house and try and find the kid, and they're not even there. Like, you're not even there. You realize that at a certain point in the night that, this wasn't the kid's house, was it? This is Snooty's house. This is his temporary cabin. You just thought because it was kind of small and all the temp cabins are small, it would be a kid house. That's the wrong house that you were at.
Aww.
Good job, Joy.
Sometimes you roll a 1. And that's what happens through the night. And as the morning comes, eventually you guys kind of find a little bit of time to rest. You can see everyone in the town is once again in the morning gathered around, angry and kind of shouting as you're all kind of gathered around the body of the fortune teller.
Oh no!
There's been a death, which means the guard is innocent.
So we're clear that I am innocent. Well, I'm good, right? I'm getting out of here.
They're good.
We
Okay,
have proven that you are innocent.
that's great. That is ideal.
I have unfortunate news, everyone. It turns out that the criminal is the criminal.
You want to elaborate on that one a little bit?
I mean that you are the criminal.
I don't know about that.
That sounds like something the killer would say.
That does sound like something the killer would say.
Oh yeah, what's your evidence?
Well, you didn't need any
Wait
other
a minute.
point to
Wait a
figure it
minute.
out.
That sounds like something the killer would say, and points back at you. As I say, call for a vote. It's that one. Points at you, Joy. Everyone in town is kind of like, kind of makes sense to me.
I say my evidence
Saying that's
is
something the
that
killer
I
would say sounds
watched
like something
you.
the killer would say.
I watched you last night leave your home with something wagging behind you. Do you perhaps have
All right, maybe
a
that's
tail?
maybe that's not a great look for me. Maybe that's not a great look for me, given the circumstances and the world
Show me-
werewolf-related.
If you have a tail.
All right, I know how this looks, everyone. I know how this looks. And
Guilty, and I point my finger. It's time to vote, and you're guilty.
you see everyone kind of looking over and goes, guilty, guilty, it's the criminal. And the criminal goes, okay, let me tell you my whole thing. Let me tell you my whole thing. I'll give you my whole spiel.
Speak.
All right, so I'm sort of like a criminal, like I'm kind of a bad guy. Everyone knows that around here. And okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna like everything out on the table. I am sort of a werewolf. All right, let's not mix any words about it. I am a werewolf.
So you admit it.
Okay, well, that's not really, I'm not saying I did the crime. Just because I'm a criminal doesn't mean I did this murder, you know?
But all the bodies.
Let's all
have
be
scratch
honest
marks.
here. You probably should have been killed earlier anyway.
That's reasonable to say. Okay, but here's one more thing. Okay, so I am a werewolf, but I didn't kill this person. I'm actually I'm a pretty good werewolf, I would say. But I saw the real werewolf last night walking around, and that's not like he's not a messing around werewolf. This was like a no funny business, like terrifying werewolf.
Okay, who was it?
It's that guy, and he points over at Kintoki.
Well, I don't think it was him. He's Watson.
He goes, no, I'm 100%. Well, see, I didn't want to blow up his cover because I'm like a nice werewolf and he's a mean werewolf.
But wait, no, there are no nice werewolves. I got taught this in school.
Well, since the guard has been exonerated, the guard can now vote, and honestly, you have been slacking in your duties, guard. Do you vote that the criminal should be brought to justice?
This sounds like sort of a criminal. This sounds like sort of a criminal situation. This guy is a criminal, and honestly, I'm just really glad that I'm going to be okay on this one. Yeah, I say probably him. The mayor kind of looks over and goes, "Shall we put it to a vote, then?"
Wait,
I want to do an insight check on the criminal.
Go ahead and make me an insight check. I'll give you advantage because everyone's here. 13. You think the criminal's 100% telling the truth?
well,
100% telling the truth, including his accusation of Kintoki?
That's what you think.
Wow.
Watson,
I would also
how
like
could
to.
you?
I would also like to insight.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, same.
I will
Yeah, go
also
ahead.
insight.
You know what? I think he's telling the truth, guys.
Yeah, this guy's 100% telling the truth. Kintoki, you think whatever you want to think.
So what? You just saw me watching the tailor because we suspected them, and now you're concocting all this thing about me being out and being a werewolf.
Well, I mean, I was being pretty cool up until this point. I saw you going around doing your whole werewolf thing before, killing people in the night and eating them for sustenance.
Saying it so.
You see the whole town is starting to look towards Kintoki, with a little bit of a maybe this guy is the werewolf.
The problem
and
with
the whole
that is that we didn't even get here until after the first body.
No, you were here on day one.
No, the
After
first
the
murder.
first murder.
Oh yeah, that's a fair point.
Oh, that's right. Watson, I knew it couldn't have been you.
But then you think for a moment and you think, oh wait a moment, though we all came separately. Yeah, usually Bartholomew teleports you out, but you all arrived here on your own.
I still have faith that it wasn't one of the adventurers.
Who was
Joy's
the
not
first
so
person to
sure.
arrive?
Don't be persuaded so easily, Joy.
Yeah, go ahead and make me a history check. Go ahead and make me a history check, sir. 9, you're not sure. I don't know. It felt like a lot of people just kind of popped in around the same time. Could have been Kintoki, but you're not 100%.
Well,
They're
I'm
still,
gonna examine
they're still on the
fortune
kill the
teller's
criminal.
I'm also going to examine the fortune teller's body.
Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
You go
Does the
ahead
fortune
and
teller have any
I'll
food
assist
in their
you.
clothes?
Yeah, go ahead and make me an investigation check as well for you, Kintoki.
Oh, decent roll.
17. Examining their body, the fortune teller. It looks like they have some like wounds on their body that are a little bit. They look a little bit more like expertly patched up this time. You can see that there's like gauze and bandages and stuff that all seems to like pretty perfectly. That all seems to like pretty perfectly wrap around, like this was done maybe by a little bit more of a pro than the first time.
So like a doctor.
Yeah.
That's the impression that you get.
It seems to me like the cause of death wasn't the pinpricks on the neck.
Does this one have pinpricks on the neck too?
This one doesn't. It's the same. The actual cause of death appears to be the same very brutal claw marks.
I see.
So it's certainly the werewolf that's the one killing things. However, it seems that these were this victim was bandaged professionally by a doctor. Pointing my finger at the doctor.
The doctor looks over and goes, I don't really know if I'm the
Were you out paying another
Okay, well, let's
house
just say
visit?
this. The first time it was pinpricks, and we didn't you tell us it wasn't the tailor, and this time it's perfect bandages. This time it's perfect bandages. Doesn't it seem like someone's just trying to frame people that it's not?
They all
Why
have
would I-
claw marks and bandages on them.
Well, that one had bad one. This time it was like me bandages. Like I did that, and it's good work. I won't deny that the person who did this did good work, but it's not mine.
What does
Then
your
show
work
us
look
how
like?
you bandage. Show us how you
I would
bandage.
bandage in a similar way. It's an effective. Listen, I'm not like messing around with you. He's the guy. He points at Kintoki again, like 100%. I'm just coming straight out and saying it. That's him. Points at Kintoki. The mayor goes, all right, time for a vote. Who do you guys cast votes for?
I vote for
Closing statements.
criminal.
You vote for the criminal.
One,
It's gotta be the
he's
criminal.
a criminal, so he already needs to be punished. But
Wait, if he's confessed to being a werewolf, don't we need like magic rope or something to successfully,
they have a silver guillotine.
Okay.
Criminal. You guys all voting for the criminal?
Joy she believes him, so Joy's gonna abstain because she can't decide between Kintoki or the criminal.
All right, Snooty.
criminal.
All right, go ahead and Kintoki, you're criminal as well, right? You said.
I mean, I'm pretty sure
I'm still
Kintoki isn't
criminal.
Kintoki.
Kintoki?
Can
You're voting
Kentucky
criminal as
vote
well,
for the
right?
criminal and gives like very hurt puppy dog eyes to Joy, like, really? How could you not trust me?
I'm sorry, okay, I'll vote for him too.
All right, one of you would make me a persuasion check.
Alright.
11. All right. The criminal is gonna make a persuasion check as well. Oh, I did not roll it too public. Oh, you watch
Oh
as
no.
the whole town turns on and begins moving towards. All right, well that's the vote. Looks like it's the adventurer, and they all go point at Kintoki, and they go to get Kintoki. You see them going over towards your buddy. Kintoki, what do you do?
Wait, really? You're going to believe a criminal's word over adventurers that you hire to help in this situation?
Majority rules. That's the one rule of this game. I mean, town.
Go, Kentucky! I'll hold them off!
Kentucky will go sprinting away at monk speed. As soon as I get behind a house, I will use my Bartholomew's disguise to turn into Bartholomew and then just walk around the other side of the house back to the monk.
Go ahead and roll for initiative for starters,
Okay.
as there's an angry mob after Kintoki right now.
All of us rolling?
Yeah.
Bad rolls.
You don't like have to do anything. I'm just as things are at this point kind of kicking off. We'll just roll for the people that have good stats, rather than literally everyone in town. All right. So the first to act in this instance is the tailor, and you see the tailor on spider legs begins running around after Kintoki. Go ahead and they're gonna go ahead and how fast are you, Kintoki? You just run away as things gonna kick off here.
I have 40 feet of movement, and I will be yeeting with full speed.
All right, so you just absolutely begin dashing away, and this fighter comes after you, and they're a little bit slower than you, so you're able to get around the house and go ahead and set up your disguise. So the next initiative is going to be you, Joy. What do you want to do? You can see the tailor begins barreling after Kintoki.
Joy is going to throw pocket spice into her eyes.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll with your pocket spice.
Okay, do I just use my sword? Or...
Yeah.
Okay. Alright.
A 7. Unfortunately, a 7 is going to or not just, it's actually missed by a little bit. And the pocket spice flies up, and it gets one of the eyes, and then she looks back and I'm a spider! I have like 1,000,000 eyes, fool! And she continues on after Kintoki. Anything else on your turn, Joy?
I think she'll just body block for, she'll, throw herself in front of the mob.
All right. You're gonna go ahead and throw yourself in front of the mob. Kintoki, the turn is yours. What would you like to do?
Okay, I will action disguise self and come out from around the other side of the...
All right.
Adventurers, what's going on? I've heard some complaints about one of my adventurers on this job.
You see Bartholomew walks around from behind the side of the building and is standing there.
Oh, hi, Bartholomew!
Joy, as she waves, as she's about to get trampled by an angry mob.
The tailor looks over at you. Go ahead and make me a deception check, because you came around the other side of the house and are back out where the tailor was coming after you. 13. They'll roll insight on that. They look over to you. Did you see someone with blue hair, kind of like bluish white hair, come running around the side of the building just now?
Yes, that's Kintoki, one of my adventurers. I just assumed he really had to use the bathroom.
All right, I'm going after him. And they kind of continue. You can see the mayor begins calling out, "We hired you to bring adventurers, not murderers, into the town."
Murder? That seems a bit extreme of accusation for one of my adventurers. All right, now that you mention it, that does happen more frequently than I would.
That's going to bring us next in initiative to Sarah. What do you want to do, Sarah?
I want to shoot the criminal.
Go ahead and make me 17 is going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage on that. The criminal is going to take 16 points of fire or radiant.
Fire that ignores resistance.
Yes, very good. And the criminal is going to begin kind of... they take a bunch of fire damage, and you hear them kind of... Yeah! And as they're getting hit, it's gonna... I forgot to roll for initiative for them. Don't mind the fact that they're werewolf. I mean, they already said they were werewolf. Go ahead. They take a bunch of damage and they don't look happy about it. That's going to bring us to the doctor, who is going to also make an insight check on what you said before. The doctor's going to make a wisdom check. The doctor kind of looks at you and begins walking up to you kind of quizzically, Kintoki, and goes, all right then. So Kintoki walks around the corner and then this weird old man comes out and says Kintoki went that way, huh?
I'm a very powerful wizard. I wasn't being called
He's gonna make a fire ray attack against you. Actually, he can use it twice.
This is still the first round of initiative?
Yep.
It misses.
18.
As Bartholomew seems to cast shield, but it almost seemed that the shield was already shimmering around him now that you can see the damage.
All right, you take no damage as the attack misses, and that's all for the doctor's turn. You see the doctor just fire at Bartholomew. I don't know if you guys know that Kintoki has a thing that lets him look like Bartholomew. Snooty, what do you want to do?
This is giving me such a headache. Help one or help the other. I'm going to assist with taking down the real werewolf. The actual werewolf.
All right, you want to run over the criminal?
Uh-huh.
All right.
200 cane attack for one.
Is that a magical cane?
It is not.
All right, so you smack the criminal in the head, and as soon as you hit it, it just seems to almost like bounce off, like it loses all its momentum. And he goes, all right, listen here. I'm immune to non-silver stuff, okay? So you can't hurt me with that. I'll tell you what, though. I'm gonna literally give you a silver knife that I carry to fight other werewolves with. It's got a leather strap on it. I can hold it. I'm gonna literally give you, when it comes to me, this silver knife. If you promise to use it on him, the real killer, and points at Kintoki. How about that? That's only not a bad werewolf, evil killer werewolf wouldn't do that, huh? Anything else on your turn? It's still your turn. Yeah, you can insight.
16.
Seems legit, man. He hands you over on his turn. He just like puts his hands up, like I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'm running away. He turns into a full-on werewolf. He gears up and roars into werewolf form and hands you over a silver knife. It has a leather handle on it, and then he takes a step back, provoking an opportunity attack.
I'm not going to use it on him. I believe him.
Okay.
For some reason.
And he begins like walking, like kind of like backing away nervously, still facing you guys as we move next initiative to the tailor who's running off into the woods chasing after Kintoki. Joy, what do you want to do?
Bartholomew, where did Kintoki go?
Like I said, he ran off that way. I just assumed he really needed to make water in the.
Okay, Joy's gonna head off that way. She 100% believes.
All right, you go chase after the tailor as you run into the woods. They're ahead. You don't see Kintoki in the distance. That's gonna bring us to Sarah. What do you want to do?
Sarah's gonna remember the words of Bartholomew. There's no PvP in the lens of DnDTime. I'm gonna try to shoot Bartholomew.
Go ahead and maybe an attack roll.
17.
17 hit, Kintoki?
That misses. As Bartholomew still has the effects of shield.
You fire a chill touch forward. And for a moment, you are expecting to hear in your mind the static and feel the pang of psychic energy that comes along when you try and levy an attack at a teammate. But as you take a moment and pause and fire it. Nothing happens when you try and attack Kintoki.
Clever.
I turn-
Now on to you.
I turn to Mayor Lord Snooty McTootington III, and I say, I think we have a problem on our hands.
What?
I did PvP against an adventurer.
And it didn't stop you.
No.
He's the real enemy then.
That's gonna bring us next in initiative.
No, that is incorrect.
Oh, wait, you have a bonus action.
Spiritual weapon.
You summon a spiritual weapon. At Kintoki.
Yeah.
It smacks downwards into the shield again, as it continues to be buffered back by Kintoki here. As we move next in initiative now to the doctor, who was firing a couple of blasts, like, oh wait, have you got it from here at this point? I'll let you guys who are paid to do this. And he takes a couple of steps backwards and just like gets in a defensive posture as we move next initiative to you, Lord Snooty McTootington.
Wait, I think you skipped me.
Oh wait. Oh yes, you're right. I did. I'm sorry. Kintoki, the turn is yours after the doctor, I guess, for this round. What do you want to do?
I will raise up or reach into Bartholomew's cloak and pull out the handheld Neil Armstrong Cyclone gun and levy it at Galanodel.
Oh no! You fire, but you see Kintoki fires a shot across the way at you. Do you want to transform Kintoki?
I will. Yeah. Wait. Is it an action to have a
It's on the free skis.
Then yes, I will go into hybrid stand.
You watch as Kintoki's body shifts and morphs as he grows larger in form and size, and before you can see a snarling werewolf wearing the clothes and carrying the items of Kintoki. That's going to be all for... Oh, I'm sorry, anything else on your turn? Kintoki.
I will rush up into melee of...
All right, you do that. In that case, that is now going to officially bring us to Lord Snooty.
Joy, get back here! It really is him!
For the first time ever,
What?
it actually is him.
I'm gonna go up and stab a player!
Go ahead and make me an attack roll.
Sure! Come on.
Alas.
Bonus action double attack, though.
Yep.
Fucking... Oh, come on!
You go in a flurry of blows and strikes, but unfortunately none of them are able to connect.
I'd like to roll above a 5. That'd be nice.
All right. That's going to bring us next in initiative to the top, which is Joy. What do you want to do, Joy? The tailor's gone, running away, looking for Kintoki.
Joy will call out to the tailor,
He's over here.
and
They doubled back! Oh no!
It's the old man.
and Joy will run over. Can she get there this turn?
Yeah, I think you can run up if you use your turn to run back.
All right, and she will channel divinity, I guess.
What's your vow? Is this vow of enmity? Oh no, you're ancients. You're ancients.
Yeah, ancients.
All right. Kintoki, I need you to make me a strength or dexterity saving throw.
Your choice.
Aha.
Is that enough?
It is not.
Ooh! You watch as spectral vines spring up from the ground and kind of wrap around you and your waist. Anything else on your turn, Joy? Oh, that's gonna be all. Yeah. That's gonna bring us next to Kintoki. Sorry, I messed up last time. What do you want to do, Kintoki?
Well, let's start with. Gotta take out the healer first, so it'll be 3 attacks against Sarah. All at disadvantage because I'm restrained.
Yes. Go ahead and make a few attack rolls.
You're approaching me.
Give me 1 second, because I just noticed that I don't actually have an unarmed attack on this sheet.
Well, you can use your own as well. Just, whatever one ends up being higher for you.
Okay. First one at Sarah.
Ooh, 18?
Is my AC.
That is going to strike. For 6. 17 sounds like it's going to just miss. Oh, and then a 9. You bring down, what is your Lake Toya sword?
It is the wooden sword I have.
And for future reference, you're welcome to use that claw attack as an unarmed strike. You can use the claw damage, but with your own proficiency for that, Lance. Just to be clear. Or bite as an armed strike as well. Both of those count.
By the way, real quick, what is the silver knife? Is it like a dagger or?
Treated as a dagger, but it is silvered for the purposes of overcoming magical resistances. That all for your turn, Kintoki. Oh, you get to make a saving throw at the end of your turn.
So I do.
Unfortunately, you go to pull and kind of bring yourself out. Yeah, you have a ton of bonus to that, too. That's really surprising. You try and dance your way out, but unfortunately to no avail. As we move next in initiative to Sarah. What do you want to do?
So I have advantage on this. I think a 26 hits.
26 is definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll, or you already did, 9 points of fire damage.
And then, as an action, I'm going to show them the error of the ways. This is also an advantage. 24?
Do I have my own HP, or do I have the werewolf HP?
You have werewolf HP. Plus your own HP, it's both. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
I'm going to cast this at 2nd level, so this is an extra d10 that I need to roll on top of this.
Oh!
Plus
my
another
goodness.
D10 off.
Yeah. And then I'm going
goodness.
to channel Divinity to cast my Touch of Death.
What is
That
that?
would kill me. Almost.
And I do 20 extra necrotic damage on top of that.
Whoa. All right, that's 53 points of damage. Woo!
Is the werewolf alive?
Werewolf's still up, I believe, right, Lance?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Werewolf's good, but Jesus, that was a lot of damage.
And then I say, don't ever call me the healer again.
As we move, pretty brutal. As we
Yeah,
move
that's my job.
to Snooty. What would you like to do, Snooty?
Well, this is weird. Do they have to attack a player? But you know what? Desperate time, I suppose.
When in Rome.
Yep.
When in Mafia, do as the Mafia do. 13, I believe, misses, right?
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, no.
And I suppose there's no point in doing an unarmed strike as a bonus action because it won't do anything. I don't have an offhand
you can
dagger.
replace replace an attack with like a grapple or something like that if you want to.
I guess I'll try that.
Yeah. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
17.
Contested by athletics or acrobatics.
Is that at a disadvantage since he's already restrained?
That's a fair point. I actually don't think it is. I don't actually think that it affects dexterity checks, just saving throws. So he would not be at a disadvantage for this.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Kintoki?
Sorry, I was just double checking that.
Yep.
Shit.
You see as Snooty kind of goes over and gets an arm wrapped around you. You have the vines binding you from below, and Lord Snooty McTootington's arm kind of coiled in, keeping you tautly in place. As we move next initiative to...
You didn't have to do this.
As we move next initiative to Joy.
All right. Joy's gonna spin around and lift her hand up in the air, and the rainbow blade is gonna appear as she with a flurry of sparkles.
Ha! Alrighty, here we go! Joy Flash!
Joy, wait, if we get to Bartholomew, he might be able to cure me of this curse.
Don't let him lie.
She is already in the mode of slashing.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an attack mode, Joy. That's a good attempt. Joy was the right target for that. Go ahead and roll me. Does that hit actually? Does 19 hit? I know you have your. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll damage on that.
Alrighty, and I'm gonna pop a smite onto it as well. 9 slashing damage, and that's 2d8 on radiant damage.
Yep, 2d8 per level, or 2d8 plus 1d8 per level, I mean.
Yeah. So...
Well, damn!
Oh my god, these rolls from you guys. 25 points of damage. How's Kintoki looking?
Oh, fucked up.
Let me correct you. These rolls from everyone but Snooty.
That's fair.
Don't worry, we'll bring you back to life at the shop.
I assume the rainbow blade is a glamored weapon?
It is.
Okay. That's, in that case, going to bring us next to Kintoki.
Have any of the adventurers actually taken any damage?
A little bit.
No.
I took 6 from you earlier.
Yes. Okay.
That, yes.
In his last bid to attack and what have you, Kintoki is going to...
You are restrained and grappled.
I am restrained and grappled.
There's a lot of melee going on, though. You guys are a big pile.
I'm going to attempt to infect Sarah with lycanthropy as I'm reach out.
Ooh. Go ahead and...
I don't know why that's an advantage.
Well, you re-roll it. You roll it to the GM layer, so we always just re-roll those anyway. So get it to the regular layer. Ah, 13. I don't know if that hits. Does it?
18 AC.
And then just go ham with claw.
Let him rip. Oof. Very good rolls, but
down, dog, down.
Disadvantage. Saving throw at the end of your turn.
Yep. Keep in mind you have disadvantage on dexterity.
Bad look on.
Yeah, you also have disadvantage on that. So
on all these. All right. Is that all for your turn, Kintoki?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Sarah.
Hey, you get another
and at
one
this
of
point,
those.
not Kintoki, but evil werewolf.
Evil
At this
werewolf
point,
will
really
go
is
down in a blaze of fire. You adventurers, I would have gotten away with it. You and your stupid death cleric.
With that, you watch as the werewolf snarls and rages against the world as they are completed, and the people of the town of Mafia all kind of hooray, kind of like cheer as you have stopped the murderous rampager who's been going on a murderous rampage.
Well, now I have to be wary of everyone, apparently.
But you can trust me.
No, it's fine. 2 of those bodies are going to disappear shortly.
As you guys kind of finish this off, you see walking down the path what looks like Bartholomew. And next to him, it appears to be also Bartholomew. As they're kind of like walking down towards the town, you hear Bartholomew kind of call out, greetings, adventurers. I was just walking along. Oh, wait, actually, I'm sorry. You're not Bartholomew. You don't have your mask right now. So you're just Kintoki. You see Bartholomew walking with Kintoki.
Kintoki has, like, one of those stereotypical top hats because all of his clothing and equipment was stolen by the werewolf to, keep him covered, as you would see tropishly in anime.
Excellent.
Cookie!
Joy runs forward and gives him a big hug.
I found this one. I came over. It seemed like this adventure was taking longer than they usually do. I found this one passed out in the woods. It looks like some werewolf came over and bit him and took his stuff and all that. But it looks like that's been handled, as it were. Kintoki, why don't you go grab all your things from that terrible werewolf?
Well, that was extremely rude of him, for one. Also, now I'm paranoid as hell, so now I don't trust anyone.
Oh, well, don't worry about it. It's the only time I'm ever going to do this.
Hey, everybody!
Hey,
Roger's here. Roger, I didn't know you were coming along. Do any of you want to shop?
You know what?
I will.
I have decided I will spend some money on the bag pool.
Will you?
Yes.
Are you certain?
I am certain.
Okay.
I am
In that
making
case,
200 bucks
Before
from
we
this
do any
business.
shopping, Bartholomew, how many dead bodies can I have moving around at once?
one. Per the rules of the lands of DnDTime.
All right. She raises a skeleton.
You grab yourself a skeleton. That's a great idea. But for now, you and your new friend, let's head on back. And Bartholomew snaps his fingers, and all of you find yourself standing around the shop, Roger included. He goes, okay, so to begin with, I believe that
Hey,
there was...
everybody, welcome to the shop!
Yes, we're in the shop now. If you need a magic item, you know where to stop.
Long
Just
time
head
no
on
see.
down to Bartholomew's shop. It's your only choice. Yes, bag pull. Let me get the bag out. And go ahead and roll me a D1000.
Okay, it's 500 bucks for a bag pool, right?
That is correct, sir.
And I just made 200, so I'm down 300, but that's fine.
I wish you, as always, the best of luck.
Don't
I
think
like
about what you're down, but what you're about to be up.
547, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Wait, why did my money go down? What?
You reach into the bag, and you find within, your hand passes over a number of magical items, and as you do, your first, you get like a paper cut on something, which you don't, you don't really stick onto that one, and then something small and kind of jangly. It might be a charm of some kind. That isn't what you go for either. Instead, you pull out what appears to be a piece of cloth. It's clothing. It's very dark. It's clearly a cloak as you pull it out, and Bartholomew goes, this is a classic magic item. This is a cloak of the bat. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but you can put it on, and while you're wearing it, you'll have advantage on your stealth checks. But additionally, while you are in dim light or darkness, you can hold on to the edges of it and use it to fly around like a bat. If you let go of the edges, you could have to stop flying, but while you're holding them, you can fly around freely.
Interesting.
And also, if you're in darkness, you can turn yourself into a bat, like a vampire. It's pretty cool.
So what you see is Snooty dons it like a supervillain, and now this is just this super buff vampire-looking guy with a curly mustache who looks very serious.
Snooty McTootington has gotten just a shade darker. And anyone else?
I'll go.
Joy, what can I get for you, Joy?
Let me pull from the special bags here.
Oh, God. Is there anything even left in that? Roger, get out the other bag.
If you need a magic item... Oh, okay. Oh, wait, we're not doing that part.
You know, just stop. Just head on down. It's your only choice. To the
Time
bag
to
of Boston
cry.
locks.
Ooh, that was pretty good. All right.
It worked out.
The hell
Yeah,
is
that's
even
so
left?
good.
All right, what do you even have already?
I have sandals.
She like digs around in her bag.
Someone pulled the scepter. I also got the nightgown.
All right.
Sandals.
Roll me a D1000.
Alrighty.
Yes, they're
Actually,
clearly.
no. Don't do that, just in case you roll 1,000 and you feel bad. Roll a D100.
Okay.
All right. You have pulled. I'm going to put it up there, Pete.
Is the last one, I believe, right?
No, I think there's still one more.
Oh, Jesus. All right. You reach into the bag, and you pull out what appears to be a ring this time. You can see it's crafted in the same style as the other items of Bartholox, but you pull it out, and Bartholomew says, "This is the ring of Bartholox. You know the drill by now. It's gold, in the gnomes that love me in gold. Once per day, you can look into the golden crown of the rings and become inspired by your own vast fortunes, gaining an additional +1 bonus to your next attack roll and damage roll before the end of your next turn for every 500 Bartholomew bucks you have. So you get one outrageous attack if you have a lot of money.
Gotcha.
That is the ring of Bartholox.
Also, unlike many of the Bartholox items, that one doesn't have any limit.
Wait, what?
Which may be an oversight.
Oh, well... Okay, well, that's that one. There's, I think, only one of these things left, so soon we will be done. Congratulations.
So sad.
You've gained the ring of Bartholox. Congratulations. That is going to anyone else, actually.
Quick question. Did my Bartholomew bucks go down?
I don't
They
know.
should not have. Why would they have?
I'm pretty sure I was on 2,200 before, but I guess it doesn't matter because I'm making a bag pull anyway.
Oh, back
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Go
so
ahead.
That would actually put me at the right amount. 537.
537. Let us see what's in the bag for the...
As far as I can tell, Switch, your bucks are accurate at 1,600 now after your bag pull. I can double check it for you, though.
All right. You reach into the bag, and you find within, your hand passes over first what appears to be... it appears to be some type of knife, and then a potion of some sorts. You can tell it's like a bottle and it has something sloshing around inside. Weird weight to it, but instead what you grab, it's small, and it is a sticker as you pull it out of the bag. As you grab onto it, this is one of the classic stickers of resistance, which we have found over a number of times. You can apply it to your armor, and it will give you resistance to acid damage. You've gained a sticker of acid resistance.
Thank you very much.
But, of course, I do hope you find use. Kintoki, I owe you money. I mean, I know you got knocked out, but defamation of character happened. I don't know, I feel like it's only fair for you to get paid in experience as well. Do you have anything you'd like to purchase?
Heck, if I'm getting paid for this, and I'm... Wait, I just heard a beat. Am I in?
Wait, what? I think you're good.
Oh, okay. I heard a disconnection sound. If I'm getting paid, I guess I might as well roll the bag.
Best of luck. 4 bag pulls, nice. 388. You reach into the bag, and your hand passes over first what appears to be a something very acidic, and then a weapon. It's a little bit too weighty for you. It doesn't quite kind of feel the way that you want it to. Instead, what you end up grabbing onto, it appears to be this keeps happening. Oh my god! It appears to be a pea pod, and as you pull it from the bag, these are enchanted peas. They're very bright purple, but they're in deep green pea pod. And Bartholomew speaks up. You can crack the pod open and toss them out, and you'll cast a plant growth spell, gaining its benefit, and then the peas will grow back over a full wide spectrum of colors, and they will grow every dawn. So you've gained the enchanted peas. You can get 1 plant growth a day. This was an item submitted by Reflected 10A. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th time it's happened that you've pulled an item that you've made, Lex. But you've gained enchanted peas. Congratulations. And with that, everyone has bag pulled, which means there can be no more. We'll be back soon with our second adventure. Thanks for playing, you guys.